Many of these ideas are focused on the support role and how we can make it more fun and more rewarding to play. We're discussing targeted support hero reworks, game system updates, and even some role-wide changes to improve support quality of life. All right, let's just stop on this for a minute. So this is good news. Support is the worst role to play at the moment in Overwatch 2. So the good news is they are looking at reworks, which is pretty, I mean, that is drastic. If they're going to rework supports, that is very drastic. The question then becomes, what supports will they rework and do?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Now, as a professional Overwatch player such as myself, I can tell you all for a fact that supports are definitely in a bad spot in this game compared to the other roles at the moment. While every other role is playing Overwatch 2, supports are playing in a sandbox in Night City. That is to say, you know, it's a war zone. So, who do I believe is the support that deserves the most love right now? There are just so many options. It's Zen. You fuckers can read. Now, dear viewer, you may be asking yourself, why should I be listening to this extremely attractive voice on the internet? Well, as a top 500 player, as said before, with around 2,000 hours.
Stop the cap!
I think I have a bit of expertise over you. And then you would ask me, well, out of all the supports, why would you pick Zenyatta? To which I would reply, stop questioning me before I could fucking...
Zenyatta's target audience are the power bottom support players, or the impatient DPS players that don't feel like waiting 3 minutes for their roll queue timer. While other supports keep their team alive through different heals and different buffs, Zenyatta supports its allies with the nuanced teachings of Mandata. 45s and 223s. Before moving on, I'm going to do a quick explanation on Zen's kit for the 1% of those who still play video games just to have fun. He heals slow, he moves slow, but he damages good. Emphasis on the damage good part if you haven't been paying attention. Alright, that's not fair. Zen does move pretty fast when he's ulting away from the rest of his team. His two main abilities are Orb of Harmony and Orb of Discord. Orb of Harmony heals for about this much. It can be thrown on any ally that you have line of sight with. After you cast it, it'll stay on that ally until you switch targets or until they inevitably die. It'll also stay on the target for 3 seconds after they break line of sight. Now it's time for every degenerate's favorite ability, Orb of Discord. This orb kinda works like the Harmony Orb, but it's reserved for those scary dudes with the red health bars. Hopefully that constant pinging was a good representation on how every tank feels when you hit them with Discord Orb. It's probably why they also dive you. After throwing the orb at an enemy, said target will take 25% more damage from your entire team. This, coupled with the fact that Zenyatta hits harder than a drunk father in the 50s, it makes sense why most enemies cower in fear of the Enlightened Toaster. Unfortunately, when you play Zen, your accuracy rating is probably just as similar as a drunk father, so his ultimate lets him become the ultimate ally to the queer community, letting him float around the map while rapidly healing his team and becoming a literal fucking god. Then, after leaving your state of enlightenment, you realize the harsh reality of the world, and then get brutally bludgeoned by the enemy team. While Zen's kit is pretty good in a vacuum, I feel like with the introduction of Overwatch 2, it's even harder for the beginner or intermediate Zen players to not feel like they're role-playing a victim. Like I said earlier, playing a support is like traversing a war zone, and playing Zen is like being a plucky soldier back on Normandy Beach. You just can't wait to see his girl Lucia back in Boston. So, you're gonna die. Like a lot. Now that we all understand Zenyatta's kit, it's time for the fun part of the video where the people who are smarter than me will inevitably deconstruct all my main points. So I'm just gonna beat them to the punch by ignoring them and putting this little counter right here. Now, buffing a character like Zenyatta is an extremely delicate process, so it's a good thing you got someone like me to take up the mantle. He's designed to be this glass cannon support whose main way of supporting is dealing damage. So, giving him something too powerful would break them out of the game, but more importantly, the identity of the character. And I won't let anybody do that to this gentleman. On the other hand, giving him something too weak would put us right back at square one. And for the sake of everyone's time, I won't be repeating the last 4 minutes, so we're just gonna move on. Now I do have at least 3 concrete ideas in mind that could be subject to change based off of how badly I get fucked up in my last match, so keep that in mind. My first idea would be dubbed the Kaioken, patent pending of course. Now ignoring the title, the Kaioken would force Zen players to make a decision. I know, revolutionary thinking, but just hear me out. By holding the key for either Harmony or Discord Orb, Zen would channel said orb and it would give him a movement speed buff similar to Moira's Fade, but without that stupid omnidirectional bullshit. By doing this, Zen players would have to sacrifice one of their main abilities in order to keep themselves safe whenever they're out of position. This in turn would get rid of some of his effectiveness in a duel or team fight if he gets rid of Discord Orb, or his ability to build ult charge fast and keep his squishies alive if he gets rid of Harmony Orb. It would all depend on the situation of said team fight, and you would need really good situational awareness, pushing his skill ceiling even higher than it already is. Now I do think the idea is a bit janky, to be fair. The people who are already worried about damaged Moiras would be shitting bricks if they saw Skynet's newest killing machine barreling towards them. So while it's a good basis, I don't think this is exactly what we're looking for in a rework. Now this second rework idea might be a little controversial, so I would like everyone to sit down, relax a little, and maybe pop a little happy snack now that they're legal where I live at. Okay, you feeling good? Cool. Paladins is a hero sheet. No, I told your motherfucking ass to sit down. Listen, I know there's a bunch of uppity people who are willing to tell you that Paladins is a messy game, and they're kinda right. When a developer's main design philosophy is to make a character as bloodthirsty and aggressive as a FromSoft boss, you can imagine that there might be a bit of a problem with character balancing. Unfortunately for you non-believers, I just so happen to like some of the monsters in these games. I also rather enjoy Paladins, so there's that too. My main issue with Zen is his lack of mobility, so I say we think like a high-res employee. In a creative and fun way, not like a Thomas Chunk kind of way. I would probably keep it simple and give him a movement ability similar to Genos. And that's it. No caveats or anything. We're trying to make a fun character here, not a balanced one. Alright, now it's time to get a little bit more serious for this last one. This rework idea has actually been under wraps since the inception of Overwatch, so I might get in trouble for revealing it, but I think it's worth it for the 1% of you who are still tuned in. I dub it Operation Iris Awakened. And yeah, you know shit's ready to get serious when the font changes. This right here would be my ideal rework for Zenyatta. Fortunately for all of us, it's not too complicated either, so we can run through it pretty fast. Similar to the first rework, we'd be adding a movement ability that would stem from his already existing kit, but with a few key differences as well. To activate it, Zen would need to use an Orb of Harmony on an ally. By pressing and holding the button again, you would initiate a dash similar to how Guardian Angel works on Mercy. Unlike Mercy though, Zen would only be limited to grounded movement, so you wouldn't have to worry about him floating around. By balancing the new ability this way, the general populace won't have to worry about Zen committing any war crimes on any squishies, and Zen players don't immediately have to assume the position whenever they get dived on by a damage. He'd be like the final girl in a horror movie, narrowly escaping certain doom in the first one, only for them to realize that they aren't the protagonist in the following sequel. And that's about it. There's so many different things you can add to any of these characters, and Blizzard has already kinda shown us what they're capable of with these other reworks, so I'm a bit excited. During the time of writing this, Zenyatta still hasn't had any announced changes, but it's all good. Really, this was just supposed to be a fun video where I showed the appreciation for the character, nothing more. He's sort of the reason why I picked up Overwatch again around a year ago, so I'm really happy I tried him out again. Hopefully with the introduction of Season 3, even more things will be added that'll make it even more memorable than Overwatch 1, so I'm like really excited. Alright, that should be 8 minutes, and we're good. Oh shit, hold on. Hello? Wait, what are you talking about? Oh, the idea counter? Nah, I was just taking up after the people at Blizzard. I am talking about their game after all. And there we go. Exactly the change that everyone was waiting for. Hey, what's going on, everybody? If you're hearing this, then either I messed up in the post-production side of things, or you made it to the end of the video. If it's the latter, then I thank you so much, like 1,000 times thank you, because I had so much fun making this. I haven't ever made anything to this degree, editing-wise. This is really my first time using any of this software, like Audition and Premiere and all that, to this degree. So the fact that you stuck through even all the lackluster and shitty parts of it, it means a whole lot to me. I just wanted to take a second to be candid and really forward with myself without a script. You can probably tell because I'm stuttering, I'm a mess right now, but this is like my 5th go, and I don't really feel like doing it anymore. I really just wanted to thank everybody who stuck around to the very end, and hopefully you can look forward to more content from me in the future, whether it be something different, something similar, or whatever it may be. Alright, y'all have a good one.